Automakers entering the space of the electric vehicle and battery manufacturing part of the industry, especially those who are not fully electric brands, are faced with a really interesting challenge and learning curve. For one, they're working with the funding in the background that comes from a long history of manufacturing ICE vehicles, but also they have to re-strategize in an increasingly electric industry and face all of the challenges, not only in operations, but also in financing these new endeavors to create a real competitive advantage in the space. Welcome back to the Out of Spec podcast. I'm your host, Francie. Thank you for joining us today. Today, it's quite chilly where I am. The sun is out and it's setting right now, but in the shade, I'm really starting to feel the season changing into fall from winter. Into winter from fall. And I know many of you have probably already seen snowfall in your area, but luckily, I've only seen fallen leaves so far. Today, we're talking about Ford, specifically Ford's recent announcements in their Q3 earnings call, wherein they spoke to their divestment, or rather their delays into certain parts of their business, including that of their battery plants. I specify that it's not exactly a divestment, but rather maybe a pushing off of this investment into this certain part of their company. And I'll go into detail because as far as we could tell from the earnings call, they're not pulling this money completely from the endeavors in their battery plants, but rather maybe just delaying. But we'll have to see exactly how this unfolds because, of course, it is complicated. As you know, Ford's original plan with the electric transition, as announced in 2021, was largely Ford BlueOval City. So Ford was to lead America's shift to electric vehicles with the new BlueOval City mega campus in Stanton, Tennessee, along with twin battery plants in Kentucky. They announced that it would be a $11.4 billion investment to create 11,000 jobs and power a new lineup of advanced EVs. BlueOval City was actually quite a big deal to the area, as you might imagine. Stanton was just a town of 600 people. And then Ford comes in to construct BlueOval City, and as they noted, the complex would be constructed on a nearly 6 square mile site to build next-generation electric F-Series pickups and advanced batteries. Sure, you might think of all the jobs that it will bring to the area, but also it takes a good bit away from the locals. A lot of change that might not be totally welcome, which is important to note, especially due to the highway that is being built in the area. One story mentions a local landowner who had an appraiser come and offer her $11,000 for her 2 acres when her land nearby, not her land nearby, but a 6-acre lot nearby was listed at $3.1 million. So that's just a bit of the drama that you need to remember happens when big companies and big business comes into small towns and supposedly creates value. But of course, that's not always fair to everyone around them. But I digress. BlueOval City was a joint venture with one SK Innovation, who Ford has partnered with to manufacture battery cells and arrays in the U.S. SK Innovation is a major producer of lithium-ion batteries, including those with different chemistries such as the NCM, nickel, cobalt, manganese, and NCA, nickel, cobalt, aluminum. These batteries are used in a wide range of applications, from smartphones to, of course, electric cars. The joint venture is specifically called BlueOval SK and has the public goal of producing approximately 60 gigawatt hours annually, with potential to expand starting in 2025. That is at least what comes from their original press release about this joint venture. The motivation with this joint venture lies in Ford's projections, which, as we will see today, have not always been right on the money, but that's pretty right on the money for automakers in terms of not always being exact with their projections and how things will go. Back in 2021, Ford had projected an annual energy demand for its vehicles in 2030 to be up to 140 gigawatt hours annually in North America and up to 240 gigawatt hours globally. The company has invested in and is working with a number of battery suppliers to secure capacity and scale delivery for next generation Ford and Lincoln battery vehicles. And back to what I want to talk about here today is where Ford is putting their money, or where they might not be putting their money right now, specifically how they're cutting costs due to a reportedly lower than expected demand for their EVs. As mentioned in their Q3 earnings call on October 26th of 2023, this year, we heard that to cut costs, Ford has taken out some Mustang Mach-E production and also slowed down several investments, including making a decision with SK to delay the second BlueOval SK JV battery plant in Kentucky. in America. As far as we know, the 2025 plans for the Tennessee plant remain unchanged. They also mentioned the ongoing evaluation of their BlueOval battery park in Michigan plan to determine the best path forward. The plant they're speaking to originally had the plans as taken from their original press release for the BlueOval SK battery park to be built in central Kentucky, consisting of twin battery plants that would power a new lineup of Ford and Lincoln EVs and create 5,000 jobs in Glendale, Kentucky. Of course, cutting costs is key to their success here. So they're looking at a very large-scale solutions with apprehension on moving the battery plants forward, as we can see in this call, sparked by analyst Rob Lockheed's, I'm assuming that's how you're saying your name, who asked questions to the chief officers on the earnings call regarding their plans and goals in cutting costs. Ford suggested that their plans are to work towards vertical integration on the batteries themselves. This includes cell designs and chemistries and an emphasis on LFP batteries in the future. LFPs were noted as an important cost reduction step in Ford's path for their Gen 2 vehicles. Specifically, vertical integration is the most fundamental change, in their opinion, that will make Ford competitive and achieve their cost-cutting goals in the future. Insourcing batteries, inverters, scaling production over drive units and gearboxes, and designing and producing unicastings in-house at Ford is key to achieving their goals. Also, CFO John T. Lawler suggested that on the earnings call that achieving cost reductions in the desired vehicle ranges is dependent on several factors. These include optimizing battery size and vehicle efficiency to minimize power consumption, integrating components with the vehicle and battery systems, and choosing appropriate battery chemistries. All of these elements, he said, will work together to help the team achieve their vehicle-related objectives. Moving into the EV space is not inexpensive. And it does require strategic and, from what I can see, conservative projections to stay out of the red and maintain progress along the way. Ford is one of the leading automotive OEMs, investing a huge chunk of change, as well as taking federal grants and federal money to push forward in their transition to electric. And they're really making a lot of progress. But of course, as we see, they're having to make some decisions strategically on where to invest and where to divest, or at least delay investment in their production, whether it be battery or vehicles. Their plans to go all electric in Europe by 2035 requires great innovation and investment on their side of things. But EV demand weakness is continually cited as a reason why OEMs are being cautious with their spending and making decisions like we've covered here today. Let me know your thoughts in the comment. Do you happen to live in Stanton, Tennessee? Also, let me know your thoughts about this story, what you think in terms of the future of where Ford will go. Please share it out if you enjoyed listening. Give it a like or a review, of course, and subscribe if you learned something new today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time on the Out of Spec podcast.